we're doing transformations of our parent function. Okay, the first blank is going to say a parent function. Okay, your parent function is the simplest or the most basic form of a function. Okay, this is what your parent function looks like. Okay, so notice it has a slope of 1. It's a positive slope, and it goes through the origin. Okay, so the linear parent function passes through the origin and has a positive slope of 1. Okay. So notice our x-intercept, it intercepts our x-axis right here at the origin.
0.
So it's at 0, 0. Okay, our y-intercept, it intersects the y-axis at 0, 0 as well. That's always what your parent function will look like. Questions so far?
No.
Miss, I don't understand nothing.
This is what the parent function looks like. It goes through the origin. It has a slope of 1. It's a positive line. All right. Fill in this table. All right, so a transformation you should have learned in about the 5th grade. You should have learned reflections, translations, and rotations. Those are all transformations. A transformation describes how a graph moves or changes based on the parent function. Okay, so it's going to move or change. All right, so think of these in terms of our slope-intercept form, our y equals mx plus b. Okay, remember f of x is just another way of saying y. Okay, so whatever is being multiplied by your x is the what?
That's the x.
What do we call this?
Slope.
The slope. All right, so this is going to be basically our slope. All right, this A refers to whatever number goes there. Okay, so if that number, well, we'll get to that. But the number that is in front of your slope is going to tell how steep your slope is going to be. Okay, so this number right here, just know that it's going to affect the steepness of your line. I remember how do we write that? All right, so
Oh my God, it's raining. Dear sake.
all right, steepness of the subject.
Yeah.
All right, so these are blacked out because we don't use them for the linear function. They're only for quadratics. What is everybody else writing? All right, follow suit, Donovan. It ain't rocket science. All right, so notice these two are pretty much kind of related, right? They both have a D. That D refers to your B. The B is called the what? The y-intercept. Somebody say it. All right, so our y-intercept tells us where it is, where our line goes to the y-axis, right? So if this is a positive D, okay, if this is my x-axis, is the line going to be going through up here or down here? No. If it's a positive, where's my positive y? Up. So my positive y's will be up here above my x-axis. So that means this is going to go, it's going to move our line up because remember, the parent function went through the origin, right? So instead of it going through the origin, if it's a plus D, that means it's going to slide up some. So this will be a translation up however many D units is. Okay, whatever the number for D is, that's how many units it goes up. So it translates up D units. Okay, that means this next one is going to translate down D units. Hello? That's hard, right?
Where's that D? It's just a B. I see a B.
Oh, I didn't say you writing hard. I said it's raining hard.
All right. Now, if there is a negative in front of my f of x, okay, then that means instead of it being a positive slope, it's a negative slope. So it's going to reflect. Okay. So the graph will reflect. Okay. It's going to change direction. Okay.
You recording? No, sure.
Questions so far?
No, ma'am. Ain't no questions. Continue.
All right, everybody got it? All righty. So just keep in mind, if something is in front of your x, that affects your slope. If it is being added or subtracted, that affects where your y-intercept is. It's going to move up or down. Okay. All right. Same time. We're not going to put the calculator right now. All right. So remember, this is our parent function. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Okay. For this graph, it has a slope of 1, right? So it's going to rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1, rise 1, run 1, right?
Stairs.
It's going to be like this.
Stairs.
All right. Now, when I go to this one right here, if I graph it, it has a slope of
2.
2. Okay? So we put that as 2 over 1, right? So it rises 2, runs 1. It's going to rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1. What do you notice about that line compared to this one?
It's bigger. It's
Okay.
bigger. It's longer.
It's
zigzag.
Okay.
It's
Now,
longer.
you should have learned that slope. There we go. That's my word. Who said that?
Xavier.
Hippolito, you said that? Good job.
I said
Good
it's
job. Get a
steeper.
point today. It's steeper. Okay? That's what we want to say. Okay? And if I go to the next number, another color,
It's going to get even steeper.
it's going to go up 3 over 1. Up
The triangles
3
get
over
bigger.
1. Up 3 over 1.
It gets even
So it gets even more steeper.
Yeah, it gets bigger.
So as this number, as the slope increases,
As it gets longer.
You got it.
As it gets
the line gets steeper.
longer.
Miss, I don't understand none of this. The hard cut, it's hard.
Good, good.
Okay, all you gotta do is pay attention to this.
No talk.
Telling you exactly what it is. As the slope, here's the slope, right? The number in front of F is your slope. The bigger that number gets, the steeper your line gets, period.
The line
Period.
gets longer.
Okay, the line is gonna get closer and closer to your y-axis.
Wow. Why is the A cap red?
It looks taller.
Looks longer.
Alright. Now we have these numbers right here in front of our x. We notice that they are all
Fractions.
fractions. Are they greater than 1 or less than 1?
Less.
They're less than 1, right? All these are less than 1. Alright, so remember our parent function has a slope of 1. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, right? Alright. But now when I get to this 1/2, it's going to go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. What happened now?
It got longer and like the triangles got bigger.
Okay. Is it more steep or less steep?
Less
It's a little less steep, right? It's getting a little flatter, right? Okay, so let's draw another one. Let's see if it happens again. The 1/3. If I go up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Notice. Okay, it's going to lay down a little bit more.
And it got two triangles.
So, as my slope decreases, you I hate right now.
It gets in deeper.
Hey, yo. Yo.
That's deeper.
It gets more tighter.
It's not that funny.
It really isn't. Thank you to those who are being mature.
Less.
It gets less steep. You may also see it say it gets flatter.
Yo, boss.
Okay? Okay? So if it's greater than 1, number's getting bigger, the line is steeper. Okay? Slope is less than 1, the number's getting smaller, it's going to get less steep or flatter. All right? Got that part?
Do we have to do that?
You don't have to go to
Now we're skipping up. Trying to move quickly.
We have to do
Alright.
lines.
Oh no.
All right, now this time we went from our parent function, okay, which means it's going up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, like that, right? Positive direction. This time we have that negative in front of there. So that means instead of going this way, a negative line has to go like this, right?
Yeah.
So it would have to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So it's going to be more like that. No, it's the same steepness, but it's just going in a different direction. So when there is a negative sign, in front, then the line is reflected.
Reflection.
Right. You're going to have a reflection. All
Give me
right.
a second.
It's the opposite trees.
Right. Your line is going to go the opposite direction. Okay. That means it'll change from a positive slope to a negative slope.
He just digged in my pants.
Maybe. Wait.
All right. Now these.
How was that?
Okay. Notice we all have the positive slope. Okay. But we're adding something to it. Okay. So instead of it just going through 0, just having an f of x equals x. Now we're adding something to this x.
What's it?
So remember, if I add a 1, that means I'm going to move up 1. If I add a 2, I'm going to move up 2. So a positive y-intercept translates the graph up.
Magic John.
Okay.
Magic John.
So it means on the next slide,
Gonna be
It will get
negative
down.
now.
right,
Negative and down.
negative and down. So positive and up on this slide, negative and down.
Okay.
Oh,
This
is that easy?
cycle, I'm gonna be a good girl.
What?
That's too easy.
This cycle, I'm gonna be a good girl.
All right.
I'm not gonna do nothing
Excellent.
bad.
Excellent.
Is that
Okay.
easy?
Is that easy? All you gotta do, if y'all just pay attention to these slides that we just finished doing, you'll ace this lesson. Okay? Because it's telling you exactly what's going to happen to the line. All right?
Better than mine.
All right.
Magic John.
Now I'm going to get all the I do's done.
I do.
All right. All right, we're going to describe the transformation of our parent function. All right. So G is our transformation. F is our parent function. Okay, notice it's going through our origin. It has a slope of 1. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Okay, so the dotted line is the parent function. G is the new line. It's the translation. All right, so notice it went from 0 to negative 5. Also, a good hint is when they're parallel, then we know it didn't do any of this, did it? If it's parallel, then it just had to slide from left to right, up, down, something like that, right? So if it's just parallel lines, then you know it's a translation. Okay? So all this did was translated 5 units down. So there's the answer. G translated 5 units down. Okay, because it went from this 0 in the y-intercept to this -5.
But what?
That's it?
That's it.
That's too easy.
That's all it did.
But what about?
I mean, notice it didn't go and start doing this or anything, right? All it did was
Down.
Down
that's it.
5.
Down 5.
So the next line will be positive, so it will go up.
Uh-huh.
And it'll be 2.
Exactly. So on this next one, okay, it started at this 0 for our parent function. Now it's up here. They're parallel, right? So that means it's just a translation, and it went 2 units up because it went from 0 to 2.
Easy. Easy. It's easy.
All right.
Miss, what
Questions?
is it?
What?
This is the same thing on both of them. It doesn't work
All
from
right.
the right or from the
Our
left.
next one.
Miss, what was the answer to?
All right.
2.
2 units up.
It's 0.
All right.
0, 0,
Well, both of them are going through the 0, right?
Zero.
They're not parallel anymore, so it didn't move up or down, did it?
No.
This time it went from here and it just kind of laid down a little bit, right? So in this case, this has to be talking about the slope. It's either steeper or it's less steep. Well, remember, if it comes up this way, it's going to be steeper. If it lays down a little bit, it
It's
is
less steeper.
less steep.
That's steep. Let's
So why we gonna put 0?
It's not 0.
It's reflective.
It's not reflective.
Reflect. Stand up, man.
Okay.
This one is gonna be steeper.
Okay, next graph.
Steeper.
Okay, they're both still going through 0.
But
Okay, so that means that it had to come from here and it had to stand up a little bit.
Reflect.
No.
steeper.
For it to reflect, it has to be going in the total opposite direction. It's still going in the positive direction, right?
Yes.
So that means this one is steeper.
Deeper.
Steeper.
Okay?
I'm done.
It's higher, right? It's kind of
Steeper.
really higher.
Steeper. Okay, this one is reflecting.
Okay, the next one.
Reflecting.
Okay.
It's the
Now
same
this
thing.
time, exactly. Still both of them going through 0, but instead of it going this way, it totally changed directions, right?
Yes.
So this one is reflected.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so now you see the difference. Now it's a negative slope versus a positive slope.
This is
That's how you know if
down.
it's reflected. If it changes from a positive to a
4
negative.
units down.
Okay. Question?
Nope.
All right, I think the next ones are your you-dos, right? Yes, they are.
That's how I do.
No, it's not. All right, so we're going to skip over to the next I do.
Which one?
Just go on, just flip your paper until you see this problem. It's going to say I do. It's going to say there's 2. Just skip the next 4 problems. Okay, there's an I do before. All right, everybody should be on this problem.
These are 2.
All right, now these are the ones you got to watch out for, okay? Because sometimes it's not just one thing, it may be 2. Okay? So notice it's not on 0 anymore. It's also not parallel. So that means it's got to be a translation and it's got to be something happened to the slope.
It went up 5.5
All right.
times.
So we see that it went from 0, it came down here to -5.5, right? -5.5. So down 5.5. Don't write -5.5. The down already says it's negative, right?
It's listed.
Or you can just write 5.5. I'll take either one of those numbers.
Sounds right.
Okay. So it went down 5.5 units, because you're not gonna say I went down -5 times. You're just gonna say I went down 5 times, right? Yes, you are. All right. Now this time it went from here and it just kind of laid on down, right? So that means it is
It's steeper.
less steep.
Yeah, I think
I tell y'all.
Less
boy.
steep. Remember, the flatter the line is, the less steep it is. Okay, the higher it looks like it's going up, the more steep it is. Okay? So we can easily see that this line is flatter than this line, right?
It's easy, man.
So it's less steep.
It's easy.
Alright? Alright, next two are yours. Now we're going to go to this slide.
I'm done.
Wonderful. Didn't take y'all that long to answer your problems. Hopefully I can probably get them done by the time I start the next thing. Alright, so we already kind of talked about this in the beginning. How our parent function is related right to our slope-intercept form, right? And we know that M is our slope. So if it affects M, then it's going to refer to the steepness and the direction of the line. Remember, your direction has to do with your positive or negative slope. Okay? The steepness is how flat or how tall it seems to be. God bless you. God bless you.
Wait.
I'm not even done on this slide. All right, our y-intercept is on that y-axis, right? So that means our line is going to either come up or down on that y-axis. All right? So the y-intercept translates. That means it shifts, slides up and down. Okay? So remember, your y-intercept part is where you're looking for it to add or subtract something. That's going to tell you if it's going up or down. Your slope part is going to be whatever is happening to the x. Okay, so if there's a number there, high number, steep. Number less than 1, flatter, less steep. Negative, reflect. Trey, I hope you have all this down on your paper. All right, so now we're going to describe our transformation. Okay, we have our parent function. Okay, the parent function was transformed to form g of x. So our g of x is f of x plus 3. All right, well, that's just my regular old y, right? Okay, which has a slope of 1, right?
Yeah.
But I see this. Okay, that's the part that's going to tell me what's happening, what changed. Okay, so if I'm adding 3, that's my b, right?
Yes.
So that means my b, my y-intercept, had to go up 3. So that means we're going to translate 3 units up. 3 units up. That's basically what that means. 3 units up. That's it.
Why?
Okay? Guys, these are the same questions. They're just asking it in a different way. Okay, we're really doing the same thing that we just did. It just looks a little
Where
different.
this is 3 units up.
3 units up. Right. That's what that says. Plus 3 units up. Okay. Questions? Any other questions? All right. All right. Appreciate y'all asking and getting clarity. All right. Now this time, nothing is being added or subtracted, but I still see a number in here, right? Remember, if there's a number in front of my f of x, or my y, then that's the number that is affecting my slope. All right? So what do we say about the number when it's greater than 1? What happens to the slope?
It gets straighter. It gets steeper.
It gets steeper. Very good. Okay, so on this one, the slope gets steeper. Okay? That means it's going to go from this to like this. So it's going to do. So it gets steeper. All right. Now I really want you to do the next ones yourselves, but for the sake of the video, actually, no, I'm just gonna go on and we're just gonna do it together. All right. But I need you to think first, right? Quick.
It's negative.
What changed? Very good. It changed from positive to negative. All right. Now you have to go back and look at your little notes if you don't remember. What did it say happens when it changes from a positive to a negative?
Reflect.
It reflects.
Oh, yeah.
Jason, you said that too? All right, Jason, you might have to get a point. Alright, so I know, Isaac a point, no Jason a point, or is Hippolyta a point? Oh, I ain't gonna be able to put all them points in, I already put 2 today, so y'all have to get y'all tomorrow. Alright, so, the graph reflects.
Little wappies.
Reflects. It's gonna reflect because of this negative in front of your f of x. Okay, and all you have to do is go back and just look at the first 5 or 6 slides. And it's going to tell you all you need to know. Okay? All right, the next one. That's kind of tricky, huh?
No.
All right, take time to think about it.
But we're gonna look at
What do you notice?
F.
All right, what do we want to
Minus
look?
8.
So what do you notice, Jasmine? Okay, it's a fraction in front of our f of x. What does that mean? What does that fraction mean? Okay, but what does that half do? Is this going to affect our y-intercept or our slope? Our slope. So our slope, remember, does like this, right? It either get more steep or less steep. Which one is it going to be? More steep or less steep?
Left.
Oh, you know.
Less steep. Remember, this is less steep. Okay, because it's less than 1. Okay, so slope is less steep, or you can say flatter. All right. Is there anything else?
No.
Sure. Nothing else. You have the f of x.
Minus 8.
Okay, what does that affect?
It did not.
The b, the y-intercept. So what does it make it do? Go up or down?
Down.
Very good. So it's also going to, and translates, or shifts, you can say, because you will see that word, down, how much?
8.
8 units. So 8 units down. That is a W. Pick up my pencil. Okay, questions? Gabby? All right back there? All right. I think we're on our last part, right?
Yeah.
Oh, still a little bit more. But it's the last type of question, right?
Yeah.
Where it changed up. Okay.
It's like
Yeah. All right. So now, this time, same thing, guys. Question just asked a little differently. Okay. We still have our parent function, f of x equals x. It tells us that we have a new line formed. Okay. It says determine if your slope is getting steeper or flatter. Also determine if the y-intercept has been translated up or down. Same thing we've been doing, right? All right. So if the new line form changes my slope to 2, what was my slope originally?
0.
2 over 1.
1. My slope was 1.
1.
What was 0?
2.
No, what was 0?
0.
The y-intercept was 0. Okay, but let's focus on the slope. The slope was 1. If the slope moved from 1 to 2, did it increase or decrease? So if it increases, what happens to it? Is it gonna lay down? Is it gonna go up? It's gonna go up, so it gets what? Steeper. So the new line is steeper than the original. Okay, and my y-intercept went from, what did it start at?
0.
0, and it went to -4. So if I'm at 0 and I go to -4, going down. So it's 4 units
Down.
down.
Ooh.
Down. Down.
Easy.
All right, y'all gonna start looking at the next 2?
This one says
Or is there 3 left?
2. It's 2.
Is there only 2 left? Okay, I thought so.
Oh yeah, the next one that has fraction.
All right, quickly, I want you to answer that one very quickly.
how?
The same way we just talked about
But
before that. So I said everything you need to know is on the first slides, right? Look back and look. Shut it down, girl.
Stop laughing. It's not even funny though. You need some water. Damn.
All right, y'all got your answers?
No.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm gonna do what I think though. I don't know if this is right or wrong. So, let's do it.
Okay.
I'm tired. Reflect.
Go and try to get both of them done right quick.
I'm done.
I'm with Jay.
I'm just kidding.
I see on them blank spots. Okay.
I'm done. Oh no. There.
I'm with
I don't know. I'm just put what I think. Here, miss, I'm done. She said that I'm her.
Come be cool. Come be cool. That's one kind of hard.
So they know. So how did they?
Well, away.
What?
You can only say fast to you, nice.
What? Cabrona. Caprima. Cousin. La prima. I'm done.
Ya no quitamos ahora nada más.
Yes, that's one kind of hard.
Is this greater than 1 or less than 1?
Right.
Let me look at it in a minute.
Hey.
All right, so first thing we're gonna pay attention to our slope. If our slope went to 1/6,
Steeper.
did it increase or decrease?
Decrease.
It decreased, right? Because is this greater than 1 or less than 1?
Less than one.
It's less than 1.
So it's
So it decreased. If it decreases, then that means it is less steep. Or you could have put flatter if you wanted.
The same thing.
Same thing. Okay. Now my y-intercept went to 3.
3.
Okay, so it's positive, so 3 units up. Okay. Think y'all are doing good on this part. That's the easy part, right?
No.
The steep and less steep is what we're getting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then your last one.
Reflect. Never mind.
All right, our slope.
Less.
Is it greater than 1 or less than 1?
Less.
Less than 1. If it's less than 1, does it get steeper or less steep?
Less.
Less steep. Okay.
It's 3.
I can leave it right
7
there in the
over
blank.
2 down.
Just gonna erase that part. All right, so it's still less steep or flatter. Now this is our new y-intercept.
7 over 2.
So 7 over 2. Yeah, a lot of times it's easier because are y'all gonna count 7 over 2 down, or you gonna count actual numbers? You're gonna try to count actual numbers, right? So what is 7 over 2 equal to?
3.5.
As a decimal. So more than likely you're gonna write it in as that number.
So we can put
So
it.
it's gonna go, yes. Because you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, not, can you count like this? No, you can't. You can't. You cannot count like that, okay? So it's going to go that many units down.
When we're gonna do the.
Questions?